What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise Postgame show presented by Bet Online. We are live in person. This is actually the first postgame show I've ever done with Eric in person, and that's because we had a live watch party tonight. Blazers get the win over the Detroit Pistons. I'll have to upgrade that scoreboard at some point. This stream, I don't know how this is going to go because we've never done anything quite like this, but hopefully you guys enjoy. There's going to be a little bit of an echo. There's only one mic live, but that's just how it's going to go tonight. But yeah, we'll troubleshoot all the technical stuff and talk about this game for you tonight. We also have a bunch of people. If you want to give yourselves a round of applause. A bunch of people in the room here with us, so we're going to give them the chance to get up on camera, ask a question, or make a statement, or state a bold take, whatever you guys want to do. I don't care. That should be fun. So it's going to be a fun, chilled, laid-back post-game show for us tonight, man. Eric, this has been a fun night of basketball. I picked the right game. It was a fun game. It was a relaxing game in the second half after the first half looked a little rough. What were your thoughts on this one?
Well, my main takeaway is just great to see Gary Payton out there. He rolled his ankle or something in the first half, but other than that, he looked really good. And you can already see how having a player that is disruptive on defense could potentially transform this defense into being a respectable one.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk about GP2 tonight. His debut, Jeremy Grant going up against his old team, pouring in 37 points. And that's what we have on tap for the postgame show. I'll get this scoreboard updated because, yeah, this is from a month ago. I don't stream on my laptop normally, so this is a bit new. But first, before we jump into things, once again, want to thank our sponsor, Bet Online. Somebody's alarm's going off. Shout out to our sponsor, Bet Online. You can use promo code BELIEVE for 50% rewards, BLEAV, 50% rewards if you want to get in on any NBA action, live betting, parlays, spread picks, all that good stuff. Check out our friends over at Bet Online. Thank you to them for supporting us this season. Alrighty. So
I just got to remember to lean in and talk.
Yeah, we got one mic here. Yeah, we tried the 2-mic setup, chat. Didn't really work, but we do have a second mic that will mute this one, and we'll turn that one on when somebody comes in up here and wants to make their statement. So hopefully that should work. Shout out to Pineapples, member for 14 months, says first venue with a check mark. Pineapples, would have been great to see you, man. But yeah, it's been a fun night here. Hopefully more of you guys can come out and meet us next time. And this is something we plan on doing again later on this season. And a shout out Michael V with the $5 dono, always dropping the W name, says Weremy and Wyman's giving us why we all wanted and needed. Stream quality and sound quality is A1, like the steak sauce. Way to go, guys. Go Blazers. Anyway, thank you, Michael V, for the $5 dono. So, yeah, we're still going to break down this game, break down GP2 tonight. On Wednesday, of course, we'll be back to our normal setup. And then on Thursday, Blazers Uprise Live, we'll go in depth on what we've seen from GP2, the first two games. Link to our second channel in the description box below. But, Eric, I'll just let you kind of start with what you want to talk about while I update this scoreboard here. You can talk about Jeremy Grant had a great game tonight. I thought the guards defensively played really well tonight. And then, of course, GP2. So I'll let you pick what we start with here.
Yeah, the guards, Dame and Ant especially. I think Dame had 4 steals in this one. Ant had 2 steals, including a really nice play where he stuck behind, I think it was Diallo maybe, or Sadiq Bey, and stripped the ball from him and got a clear path foul. So just really nice action from them. They got stuck a lot of times guarding in the low post against bigger players, and I thought they did about as good a job as they could, and that's all you can hope for when you have 2 guards like that. So great job there. One of the other things that stood out to me in the first half was Chauncey's rotations. Now that we have Gary Payton back, it was interesting to see. Of course, Eubanks came in as the first sub because Nurk got hit in the face like he always does and had to leave the game. So I don't think he would have necessarily been the first sub, but out of the other players, the first subs were Sharp and Jabari Walker.
The rookies.
The rookies come in ahead of Gary Payton, ahead of anyone else in the rotation, Watford. So I thought that was interesting that Chauncey seemingly rewarded Jabari Walker at least for having a decent game against the Warriors. And, if you play well, maybe you get minutes, and that should be how Chauncey does things going forward. But, yeah, just nice to see him mix it up a little bit. Now, I think it did get into some problems because then he's trying to play Keon and Watford and Gary then. And when we got Nasir back, how is he going to mix all of these guys into the rotation? So I don't think you can do it against most teams, but tonight was a good test just to see. And I have no problem with him playing different lineups and different players until he figures out who should be in the regular 9-man rotation.
Yeah, this is going to be something to watch up until the trade deadline. Of course, when the trade deadline comes along, it would be nice to have some sort of established bench just to get a feel for what else you need off of it when things are kind of all up in the air. And, it's not a bench unit that's cohesive right now, and that's due to, I think, a bit of a lack of talent, but also I think it's a little bit due to just Gary Payton hasn't played. Some guys don't seem to know their role. Some guys don't seem to know how many minutes they're playing each night. It would be nice to figure that out over the next week or two so that they can get a feel for what exactly this bench lineup is at full strength. Obviously, Nasir Little is still out, and he won't be back for at least a couple more weeks. But the bench is... Same with Justice Winslow. So we're not going to probably see this bench lineup full strength before the trade deadline. So it'll be interesting to see how Joe Cronin approaches the deadline, whether it's, we think this bench lineup at full strength can actually be really good and we're not going to try and make a move or make a splash, or if it's something that they want to upgrade and are willing to maybe mess with the protections on that 2023 first day of Chicago in order to trade a future first. I don't know, but the bench has been a big topic of discussion. Tonight, it was nice to have Sharp have some good minutes. Jabari Walker had some good minutes. Gary Payton II came in and did some nice things. Obviously, on the defensive end, it was a lot of fun watching him fight through screens, which is kind of unfortunately rare for this team. But overall, really enjoyable game today. It's just going to be interesting to see how Chauncey figures out the minutes crunch and the minutes situation.
Absolutely. And what did you think of Gary tonight?
I don't know. Audience, what did you think of Gary tonight? I just want to remind chat that they haven't all left yet.
Drain that first three.
Yeah, hit that first three.
He hits a corner three. Looked confident shooting it. He did look a little rusty in terms of handling the ball a little bit. That's just going to take some time. We saw him miss a lay-in in the first half, but I think he's settled down quite nicely. It helps when you get past two, an inbounds pass for an easy dunk, so you get credit for a steal and a basket. But yeah, I don't think we could have asked for a nicer debut. One key thing I saw with Peyton tonight is we haven't had a defender that gets away with putting a hand on someone near half court. And so that's going to be nice to have. We see people do that to Dame, going back to like Brandon Roy era, and like refs would let Ron Artest just manhandle him as soon as he crossed half court, and it was so frustrating because that would be an automatic foul if one of our players did that to someone else. But when you have a guy that has the reputation of a defensive player like Gary Payton does, I think it's to the point where he can get away with that. So it's going to make a big difference, I think, just that physicality he brings and just that mindset that I was talking about this afternoon, where you're just going to get up in someone's face and you're going to stop them. And you can want to play good defense, you can try to play good defense, but unless you have that super aggressive, I'm going to go all out and get in this guy's grill and not let him drive past me, unless you do that, it's really hard to be like an elite defender. And it's finally nice to see the Blazers have one of those guys.
Yeah, I've kind of wondered if there's going to need to be an adjustment period for him coming over from Golden State, where they get away with a lot of stuff, especially moving screens. Coming to Portland, if there's going to be some sort of adjustment period for him, maybe in terms of the way he's refereed. Because I feel like if you play in Golden State, you get away with a lot. Too much, let's just be honest. And there was a couple of plays where he got called for some ticky-tack stuff tonight, but he has that reputation as one of those guys that plays really good defense. And when you have that reputation, refs tend to give you a little bit more leeway, especially when it's a level of physicality that you're playing with every single play. Guys that don't normally play physical, when they get physical, they tend to get called for more fouls. So it'll be interesting to see what he can get away with due to his reputation, due to how consistently physical he plays guys. But that is the type of defender I feel like this team has needed for a while. And it was just fun to see a dude be able to kind of body a guy up off the ball through a screen and not get called for something, because I feel like we always get called for that type of stuff. So overall, yeah, fantastic game from him. Also, it's cool doing a post-game show with you by my side because you get to watch me like scramble through everything to try and fix this stream right now, and you actually get to see it on my.
Didn't play the Rockets
on my end. Yeah, well, I fixed that. See, okay, we're good. I got the bottom scores, and yeah, let's see here. I'm searching for the top section right now. It's like a puzzle, but I'm almost there. And then we'll bring some of you guys up in like 15 minutes, I'm thinking. And yeah, but go ahead.
Well, the other cool thing we saw from Gary tonight is there was a pick and roll that they switched on, and they tried to dump a pass to the big rolling, and he was quick enough and long enough to get his hands in there and deflect a pass and get a steal. And that's also another element that we really haven't had this year so far, is someone who can not only switch and guard bigs and be okay, but someone who can be disruptive in those passing lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me thank some member messages. You guys have been leaving a ton. Thank you for that. Shout out to, let's see if what was the next?
David C.
Yeah, David C. What's up? David C., member for 2 months, says, this is epic. Love it. Let's go Blazers Uprise. Thank you, David C. Shout out Daniel G., member for 4 months, says, quote, you're shorter in person.
Oh, man.
I was going to ask you guys, chat, I mean,
look at this. This is it.
I mean, see, I look closer to your size right now than I do when I have you up on the Skype.
You almost look bigger than me on this.
I know. I just said, like, my head's smaller than Eric's, so that's really what it is.
It does not look smaller than mine. You look like you have a huge head.
But Daniel G., thank you. Even though you're 6'4", and you don't look down on me, so. But we got a lot of tall people here. I was surprised. We got a lot of. We look like a basketball team out here, man. It's cool.
You got your own Muggsy Bogues and me.
I don't know if Jack here. Somebody said we got Muggsy Bogues, and yeah, we got a lot of you guys are like 6 feet, 6'2", 6'3". So, but that's been a running joke, is when I meet people from the community, they tend to be surprised that I'm actually 6'4" and don't lie about my height, and I just blame you for that. Anyway. Shout out to Verdron Makatan, member for 2 months, says Jabari deserves regular rotation in prep for playoffs. Thank you, Vedron, for being a channel member. Sorry if I messed up your name. I tried my best. Yeah, Jabari, we're going to have to talk about him. Jabari's been phenomenal, I think, just in doing the little things. Some of the easy stuff that kind of goes undervalued, boxing out, cutting, rebounding. This team needed some rebounding help off the bench, and he's been a good rebounder. And it's nice to be able to give him some spot minutes, and he's not going to screw things up. Maybe even might help you. It'd be nice for him to get his three-point shot going and become more of a floor spacer, because he can certainly shoot the ball. But that's why you might have to give him minutes in order to get him comfortable shooting out there in an NBA game, NBA speed from the NBA three-point line. So it's nice to see him get some minutes, though, and look solid.
Yeah, and he did two things particularly well in this game that I think he can do more of in the future. One of those is when he gets switched onto a guard, he does a good job of just keeping him in front of him and not letting him blow by. And that's really important. You might give up a three-point shot, but as long as you get a hand up and contest it, that's not the end of the world when you're switching on to someone faster. And then the other thing is just his ability to help and protect the rim a little bit when there's not another big man in the game. I thought he had a couple of nice help defense moments in this game where he came across the court and protected the rim.
Yep. Sorry, I can't get over how people are trolling me more than they usually would, because they're actually here. Like, Sam, I saw that comment, and I know you're here. So, It's also funny to see people coming to chat. Why are they in the same room? As if we haven't been talking about this watch party every stream for the past month.
Well, the funny part will be when some of you come up here and then you look really small compared to both of them.
I know, yeah, we should have done the standing up is how we should have done it. But yeah, I keep forgetting the webcam's all the way back there. We had to get the wide angle, so but this is pretty cool. But we'll bring you guys up in 10 minutes. Hopefully Steven's still here. Yeah, Steven's back there hiding in the corner, but we're gonna bring Steven up first because via him or do the podcast thing and haven't been able to have him on a post-game show. So we'll get him up here, and I'll just get his hot takes from tonight, and then we'll bring up whoever wants to come up. We'll have to figure out a system to do that. But, yeah, GP2, what was his stat line at the end of it? Let me pull up this box score
I
here.
think it was 3 for 4 from the field, including that three-pointer.
And an absolute gift.
He had 4 assists, including that nice lob to Sharp.
Beautiful.
It was was at the beginning of the quarter, a timeout. Nice play design there to get some action going.
That lob looked way too high, but like most of our guys, I feel like throw lobs like very flat.
Right.
So like there was so much loft under. I'm like, oh, that's way too high. And then I remembered who he's throwing to, and I'm like, oh, that's probably perfect. And then yeah, it was perfect.
I almost thought it was maybe too close to the rim. Might have been a goaltend. I was hoping.
Yeah, I should have thrown it more behind him so we could have done it with more style. But that was a nice pass, nice set play.
We know with Sharp, you just got to throw it anywhere near the rim, and he's going to get it if he has that room. So yeah, that was nice. I thought, outside of him being a little uncomfortable with the ball at the beginning, since you want to mention your college ball,
I don't want to mention my college ball.
When you go like a month or two without playing.
Nope.
I know he's been practicing, but the ball just feels a little weird for the first few minutes, and you're just like you don't dribble it quite right. So he did have a little bit of that, but I thought it was nice to see him as the game progressed, being able to take the ball up against pressure. He did have that travel, but other than that, I thought it was a nice thing that you can count on him to bring the ball up against someone that's pressuring him.
Yeah, absolutely. He played point guard early on in his career and has been moved to a wing spot, which works better for him. Just playing off the ball. Playing as a big a lot of times. In Golden State, he was used as a screen setter a lot of times, a roll man, a dump-off threat, and we saw some of that today. We saw him utilized as the high post entry guy, which is normally the power forward in the center. But when you have a power forward like Jeremy Grant who excels playing on the perimeter, you can kind of mix him into different roles. Grant on the perimeter in a lot of sets where Gary Payton is playing more of the big man spot, more of the four-man's role. So it'll be interesting to see and kind of compare sets without GP2 in to sets that they run and actions that they run with GP2 in the game, just to see how much they plug them in a role that's normally reserved for a big man, maybe a center or a Trent Watford if he's in the game at a power forward. That's something that I'll be looking for as we see more GP2 minutes. But yeah, GP2 isn't a point guard anymore. He shouldn't be, he shouldn't be handling the ball a ton in the open court, but he can do it. He can do it. He's going to be rusty in that regard, but long term, he's a guy that you can give the ball to, and he's going to be able to bring the ball up the court, deal with some pressure. And for a 3-and-D cutting athletic wing player, I know he's 6'2", but he's a wing. It's nice to be able to have a guy that you can give the ball to, and he can at least handle the ball at a basic level, because in the past we've had a lot of wings and forwards that you would not trust in that regard. Well,
Eric Olson, who's here, puts it perfectly. GP2 is positionless. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So who else do you want to talk to, or who else do you want to talk about before we talk to the people?
Let's see. I thought Dame did a good job of not really forcing anything tonight, setting up teammates. Got that 10 assists. We already mentioned the 4 steals, so he's pretty good on defense as well. So I thought even though he only scores 19 points, he didn't really have to do a lot, and that was nice. Anthony got hot for a while. I think that was the third quarter. So it was nice to see him get going as well. He did have 30, took 18 shots, but you'll take that efficiency all day.
Absolutely.
And so I thought the starters, and then someone we really haven't talked a lot about, Jeremy Grant was fantastic tonight with 36 points on only 17 shots. Was hitting the 3-ball, had that little mid-range turnaround shot going tonight, even if he was off balanced. And so just outside of Nurkic, obviously only playing 14 minutes. I thought the starters did a really nice job, especially in that third quarter when they needed to come out and put Detroit away. I felt like they did a good job of doing that.
Yeah, well, someone stepped up statistically for Nurkic at the very least off the bench. But I'm going to wait for the biggest Drew Eubanks fan in this place, Steven, to come up here and gas him up in a little bit. Yeah.
4 steals, 2 blocks.
Yeah, and I'm going to let Steven say it, as the biggest Drew Eubanks fan here. But yeah, Eubanks, nice. Dame, 7 for 14, 3 for 6, 10 assists, 4 steals, 19 points. Yeah, not the biggest game, as you said, but defensively, multiple deflections in this game. 4 steals, 2 blocks for Dame is insane, man. This backcourt has become underrated defensively. I feel like Blazers fans got stuck talking about how bad the backcourt was for so long that even if this backcourt started defending at a high level, it's still going to take some time for people to start saying anything new about it. They're kind of, stuck in their ways. But I think the last 2 to 3 weeks, this Blazers defense has improved a little bit, and that's because Dame and Ant are defending at the highest level I think we've seen them defend all season long. Ant had multiple possessions, just sliding his feet, staying in front of guys. Dame, multiple deflections, solid in the low post. I don't mind Dame against bigger players as long as they're not like big threats to just shoot over him consistently, like a KD or a Paul George or whatever, because Dame can hold his own in the low post. We've seen it. And in this game, multiple possessions in the low post against Saddiq Bey, and Saddiq Bey didn't get anything going down there for the game. Saddiq Bey, 2 for 6, minus 26, 9 points, 5 boards. Wasn't really able to do anything against Dame in the low post, and Dame's just really good at getting low, holding his ground, getting leverage. And playing good low post defense. So it allows you to put, a Josh Hart on a point guard or a Jeremy Grant, even though we've complained about that. Dame being able to hold his own in the low post makes him a little bit more versatile of a defender. And we saw some of that tonight, I thought. So good defensive game, 106 points given up. Didn't start off the best in the first half, but that was mostly due to the offense. And
well, they only had 4 points after, the score was under 10 points after halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah.
It was not going well for either team.
Yeah, this game was close right until, the last couple of minutes there in the second half. Blazers went on a huge run to end the half and then ran away with this thing. But 22 points in the first quarter for the Blazers. We've seen them kind of struggle offensively in first quarters, but then the last 3 quarters, 39 in the second, 41 in the third. That's 80 points in the second and third quarters, which, if you remember in the loss against Golden State, the Blazers were really good in the second and third quarters. This team is super inconsistent. It's high highs, low lows. They'll have a really, really good quarter, and then the next look like a completely different team. I think some of that is due to not having much faith or trust in the bench lineup. That can completely swing a game, especially going up against teams with good benches. But it's kind of insane, man. This is the second game in a row. They've absolutely just dominated the second and third quarters. Didn't let up in the fourth, 33 points in the fourth. So offensively, after 22 in the first quarter, to put 135 on the board was phenomenal. That was Jeremy Grant going off, Dame and Ant just being efficient, hitting shots. Sharp hit some shots. Eubanks finished some plays. Yeah, just kind of a group collective effort, which was nice to see.
Yeah, one of my only complaints in the fourth quarter was the decision to put the starters back in at some point.
Well,
I don't know.
At what point do you take them out? 20, because I saw there's complaints. They're up 22 with 7 minutes left. Is that a point you take them out?
I think that's the point where you leave the second unit in, and if it gets maybe down to 16, 17, then you think about putting the starters back in. But if they just hover around 20, I think you're fine, and you just let it go. But it's hard to nitpick that kind of stuff in a game like this. It's just, we have a road trip coming up, starting on Wednesday, 3 games in 5 nights. We know we've talked about how many minutes some of the starters are playing this season. I just would have liked to seen if the the bench could maybe just hold that lead a little longer and not have to put it back in.
Yeah, absolutely. If this was a Boston Celtics team or a really, really good, I don't know what that is, but that's spot on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's all good. I need a short range mic or like a directional mic, because that's the thing. Me and you need directional mics, so like I could point mine this way and point yours that way, and it'd be fine. But I am not that technically. I can't even say technologically savvy or whatever the phrase is. So, I'm about ready to bring people up. Shout out Alex R. $2 dono says, I'm with you in spirits, gents, and raises a glass. Thank you, Alex R. Appreciate you. Actually, speaking of an Alex, before we bring people up, so all right, let's do this thing. So, what's the backstory with this box that you brought me today?
So, Alex Wolf, I don't know if he's watching right now. He's probably out celebrating Donovan Mitchell's 71 points because he is a Cleveland Cavaliers fan from Ohio that somehow started watching our show and likes us and stuff.
Props to us, I guess.
He just started sending me random stuff. The first time he sent me something was something that's kind of fuzzy in there if you want to pull it out.
Okay. Yeah. So he also sent me stuff. He sent both of us stuff. But
every time he sends me something, it's like, this is for you, and there's a matching thing for Tori or whatever.
Yeah. And you've talked about it, so some people know what this is going to be. But yeah, so I'm just going to pull this up. It looks like we got a, this is definitely a very valuable item. It's a,
oh, not that. No.
Yeah, a Greg Oden bobblehead.
It's not a bobblehead. It's like.
It's not even a bobblehead. It's just a Greg Oden.
One of those McFarlane.
It's a healthy
toys,
Greg Oden doll. What do you call that?
Don't look at it too hard.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Back in my day, it was like starting lineup, but yeah, it's like an action figure.
Bob it on its head times the leg falls off.
So yeah, we got. He sent us both a Greg Oden one, but yeah, the other thing in there was what I was talking to you about.
Yeah. So the other thing is.
So apparently he has some sort of connection with Dockers or something. So he sent us both slippers for good luck during the lottery. But
What size are these,
I haven't
though?
seen you really to give them to you, so they're extra large. But,
Extra large.
Yeah.
These probably fit me, since I'm 6'4", extra large probably makes sense. So finally was able to take this off your hands.
Yeah. My wife's been complaining about these just sitting there waiting.
Wait,
I hardly ever see you, but like.
yeah.
And then there was another thing that I couldn't find, but he sent us just like a pack of some of our favorite player cards.
Yeah, so you just got this stuff floating around your house. That's awesome.
Yep.
Honestly, I could have. This is actually kind of clutch. Not even gonna lie. I might make jokes about it or whatnot, but I don't have any slippers. So thank you to Alex.
Thanks,
Finally was able. Every round of applause for the slippers and the Greg Oden, whatever you call this thing, statue. Anyway, so.
Some people are saying it breaks if you bring it up, take it out of the package.
Yeah, I'm not hanging out of the pack.
Or
You'll
it's
see this
accurate
behind
in
me.
the package because his legs aren't on there. You have to attach the legs later, so it already doesn't have his legs. So.
And the legs coming too.
I mean, I might just leave it like that, honestly, unfortunately. You got to joke about the misery of being a Blazer fan, obviously, because, other than tonight, it's been a wild ride the past decade or so. Anyway, thank you, Alex Wolf, for those gifts, if you want to call it. He's not even in here, unfortunately. Hopefully he watches this back. You're going to have to let him know. But
He wasn't here earlier. I don't know where he went.
he left at the perfectly wrong moment. That sucks. All right, so we're going to start off with Steven. Steven, get your ass up here. And we're going to have to figure out how to work the mic. You guys should walk around that side. Hopefully Steven's a big dude just like all of us. We're three real hoopers. Anyway, so there might be a little bit echo. How do you want to do this? I can just mute my mic when you talk. I'll just mute my mic when you talk. And that's how I think I'm going to do it. I'll figure it out. There might be some echo, there might be some overlap or whatnot. But if you don't know Stephen Vaughn, my co-host with the Believe in Blazers podcast. We've been uploading the video versions of those usually weekly over on our second channel, Blazers Uprise Live, if you want to check that out. Link in the description box below. But first time being on a post-game show. First time being on air with Eric. It's cool to have you here, man. Thank you for coming out.
No, we were on. We had him on one time.
Did we?
Yeah. Remember he had.
Oh, yeah, back in the day.
I popped on.
You guys almost like fought each other. or something.
Through the screen, yeah. But now I get to see him in person, so I can't be mad at his face. I mean, look at his face. You can't be mad at that.
I know. How can you look at him? Anyway.
I'm in a very awkward position right now. Echo.
Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. We're going to have to just talk one by one,
Can
unfortunately.
you mute?
Well, I was muting on
It's
here.
good really close in there.
But we'd have to mute both mics, so... Yeah.
Or we can just tilt this and have him.
Here, I'll mute Steven's mic. There we go. All right, we're going to have to do this like one by one. The mics are going to be... Yeah, we got to sort this out like that. But basically... Or we could do that in the middle. Can y'all still hear me? Is this still good? I don't even need my headphones in. Why do I have my...
Put on the headphones, I maxed out the volume. It actually sounds really good so far most of the time. Just put it in the middle, I think it'll be fine.
Put it in the middle? All right, that's good. All right, that's what we're going to have to do. I don't...
Just talk loud.
Treat it like a press conference.
These are like a comfort thing.
We're taking
tonight.
questions, yeah.
I'm just so used to it. Yeah. Anyway, so you watched the game here with us. First off, what'd you think of the watch party? Second off, just your takes on the game. Whatever you want to say about it, we can debate or we can agree for once or whatever you want to do, man. The floor is yours.
Nah, man, it was cool. It was cool to see, the new community out here, Rip City. Everyone loves it. So, I appreciate you guys letting me in, as well. It's a little different than being on radio, like live streaming like this. Like, it's weird to look at it from this angle. I never had it like that, but no, it's cool, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys do a lot of hard work, and I respect what you do. So, I'm just glad to be, a little part of the Rip City or Blazers Uprise community. I always want to say Rip City Uprise, but I know it's Blazers Uprise community.
That's what I got it from. People have asked before, I've told the story, but Rip City Uprise back, 10, 11, 12 years ago, that was like the first playoff run that I saw because,
Yeah.
I wasn't really around for 2000. I was 4 years old back in those days. So
God,
that's
you're
what
young, bro.
a little bit.
You missed.
And the Rise with Us.
Yeah, dude,
campaign.
Rise with Us, Martell Webster time.
Yep.
Nah,
That's what,
yeah, dude.
that's what I got from, but no, it's been fun, like, doing that podcast with you, debating on different things. Like, you are very knowledgeable, but you're very knowledgeable, and we disagree, but you make good points, and they're the type of disagreements I wish certain trolls in my chat would bring forth more. It's this, it's good disagreements that we have. We agree on some stuff, we disagree. Let's just start off with a disagreement because that's entertaining for people. Anything you've disagreed with in this post-game show?
I think we're getting a little over our skis here with the win over Detroit. It's the Pistons. Let's not get over our skis a little bit. GP2, he looked fine out there. I was surprised, I'll say, offensively. The Blazers looked to kind of run things through him a little bit more than I thought. The 4 assists he had. I don't necessarily think of GP2 as a playmaker, but they kind of let him playmake a little bit, and they put him in a lot of screens, a lot of decision making. So I did like that. But there's really not much to learn, I thought, from tonight against the Pistons, who they just don't have it with Cade being out. They're just not a good team, not a good defense, and these are the type of games that Portland wins all the time, right? Like, you need to see Portland play like this against the good teams when they're coming up. They got the trip where they play Dallas and they play who else? I was looking at this.
Toronto and Indy.
They play Cleveland and then they play the Mavericks twice in a row and then at Denver. Like, that's the stretch you want to see where how does GP2 fit with this team, because that's what you need is defense out there. So good start, but still I think a long way to go here for the Trailblazers because ultimately, Tori, like we've talked about this, Eric, you're a big fan. Like, we just want the Blazers to be a championship team. And so it's however you get there. Like, we all think differently about that, and that's okay. But we all have one goal in mind, and that's to get the championship. You got to try to somehow beat these good teams. And we know to get there, you got to have a good defense. So that's the one thing I still worry about is defensively on that side of the ball. But I thought it was good, good showing by GP2 tonight. And,
Well, I think for me, when you play a team like Detroit, what I look for is some of the little things like fighting through screens. Are we auto switching too much and creating mismatches with Bogdanovich on one of our guards and things like that. And while we did do that a lot, I felt like when Peyton was in the game, this is going to be an adjustment period for some of the other Blazers who aren't used to someone who can get through a screen. But just watching him navigate those screens and having a player that can fight through, that's something that's translatable. It doesn't really depend on who the opponent is. So I do think that there were some positives, even though it was Detroit. But at the same time, yeah, there's still a lot of work to be done. It's not just like, oh, plug in Gary and we're going to be good against every team or whatever. That's definitely not the case. But I do think you saw some signs of how they can use his aggressiveness to improve the defense overall.
Yeah, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move.
Nice.
We're gonna talk, mute, move, unmute.
All right, the thought I had was when Justice Winslow comes back, is GP2 going to eat into his minutes a little bit? Because GP2, you know, like you said, Tori, 6'1", 6'2", whatever he is, like he plays bigger. Eric, you said he's positionless. He is. Like, there's no real positions in the NBA. You can just throw guys out there, and as long as you can rebound and you can play defensively enough, like you don't need the necessarily traditional 1 through 5. Like you can just throw 5 guys out there, and that's kind of what Justice did as well. But like with GP2, when Justice gets back, I mean, he's a better version of Justice Winslow. Like we all don't like Justice Winslow. He's not very good. He's not efficient. He's an okay on-ball defender. That's about it. Like I feel like that's the spot where, you know, we talked about this on the podcast, Tori. Like the Blazers' depth is a real issue. Like they need about 2 or 3 more guys on the bench that they can play in the playoffs. I think this is a spot where you can say, all right, GP2, you're going to get Justice Winslow's minutes, and we're going to fill in the rest of the roster some other way.
Yeah, for sure. Gonna need a few more weeks, I think, just to see how good this team is defensively with GP2 off the bench, because I think he solves a lot of problems. Like, you can just put him up against Jaden Ivey with a bench unit, and he'll just take him out of the game because he was playing great denial defense on him. Of course, you're not just going to take every good player on the team out of the game by just denying him, but overall, I think he will have an impact on the bench. It'll allow, you know, Shaedon Sharpe to guard somebody a little bit worse offensively, potentially. It'll allow you to have a little bit more favorable matchups down the line if you have that lockdown defender that you can put against the best offensive player. So that's what I want to see, and then we can go into the trade deadline and have a good feel for just what this team needs. But I think to what Eric was saying is, it is a bad Detroit team. Granted, they just beat Minnesota in Minnesota, but that's a bad Minnesota team.
Beat Denver tonight.
Yeah, but this team just has to build good habits is what this team has to do. So I think this was a game where you saw Ant do some good things, Dame do some good things. Yes, it's not against a good opponent, but if they play defense like this consistently, all of a sudden they're not a negative on that end of the floor. So it's just really kind of building those habits. Games like these are easy to take lightly, so it's nice to come out and just basically dominate on both ends of the floor for the greater part of this game, because they need to find consistency on the defensive end. And it starts with games like this. It starts with games that you might take lightly, you might not respect your opponent, and then you start making a lot of those silly, unfocused mistakes. So I really like how they were locked in tonight. Just got to figure out how to continue to build some better habits with some of these young players, especially off the bench, so that this group can hopefully defend better in the future.
Yeah, and to Steven's point, I do think they still need a couple better role players off the bench. Primarily a shooter, I think, is one of the top priorities, and also more defense will not hurt. So if you can find someone who's good at both of those, maybe Gary Payton has now a lights-out three-point shooter, 100% on the year, right?
Hey, he didn't want to mess up his three-point percentage. He passed it to Sharpe.
I saw that,
he would have lost 50 percentage points on that. That's
a veteran play right there.
Smart.
So I think if they just add that shooter and maybe one more defensive piece off the bench, I think it can be okay now that you added Gary Payton as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting when Winslow comes back, though, because we saw him earlier in the season. He was more effective kind of as a bully ball 5, like in the paint, against like weaker, not super physical players like Domantas Sabonis in Game 1. Whereas as the season's gone by, he's been taken out of the paint and been more on the perimeter, guarding screens, guarding guards. Almost like Jeremy Grant's role in the starting lineup has been moved to him in the bench lineup. And so I think the key will be, now that Gary Payton is probably going to be the primary defender on the other team's best ball handler with the second unit, can we get Justice back to the roles on defense that he's best suited for, instead of trying to guard like Jordan Clarkson at the end of a game up top with no help, I think Chauncey could potentially figure out how to use some of these lineups a little better as he gets all his pieces back, but I do agree that they also need to upgrade, at least with the shooting and another defender.
Yeah, and it might not even be this year, right? Like, it may be something in the offseason that they do, just because they are so strapped, salary-wise. I know you guys are the experts. I'm just a novice on that part, but they're pretty strapped, just money-wise, salary cap-wise. So I agree with you. Like, they got to upgrade, but I just don't think this team's ready to contend this season, which is fine. It's just a building block towards next year. I also think the other takeaway I had, last couple games, Jabari Walker's been playing really well. Mm-hmm. Does he deserve to continue to get more and more minutes? I mean, you look at the minutes tonight. He played 20 minutes, just as much as Shaedon Sharpe, basically, and Nurk was out for some of the game because of the illness, getting hurt. So it'll be interesting to see Jabari Walker, his minutes going forward. It was also really good just to see guys not have to play a lot of minutes. You touched on that a little bit earlier, but the only guy over 30 minutes, Anthony Simons, that's nice going forward. And Dame, Dame getting at his old age, for how old he is, right? He's super old now, but he's learned how to coast against these bad teams, and I don't think he had to put out a lot of effort tonight. And that's something I think going forward is going to be really important. He let Jeremy Grant cook. He let Anthony Simons cook in the third quarter. He even let Shaedon Sharpe, the run plays for him. He goes out there and just kind of coasts through these games against the Pistons, which is great. They don't need him to go off and hit 11 threes. It's fun to watch, but they don't need it. I want to get him healthy for the playoffs and stay healthy. So I like that as well. So, also I wanted to add this about Torrey, because, I don't tune into the live streams all the time.
Yeah.
So how often do you talk about college basketball?
Oh my. I guess I don't need a music.
I play college basketball too. I'll talk about it all day.
Dude, all right. There's a new Reddit thread every time I talk about college basketball is what it is. There's just people that, let me move this mic closer. There's just people that I don't know, apparently I used to talk about it all the time. I felt like it's over-exaggerating, but it's just, people trying to nitpick, and it's a lot of, he thinks he knows what he's talking about because he played college basketball at a JUCO and averaged 2.2 points per game. People will come in my live chat and type the number 2.2. That's a running joke in our community. So, yeah, I know you put up better stats at – where did you play?
I played at Clackamas Community.
Clackamas Community.
Concordia.
Yeah, you put up better numbers than me, so nobody could come in here and troll you about your points per game, unfortunately.
That's true.
But
Go check it out.
yeah, it's just kind of a running.
Skip Bayless.
I was all league. We won the championship. It's all good.
We'll have pickup
my
runs soon, and you're gonna show up, and it's gonna be a video on the channel, and we're gonna see.
I'm 35 now, dude. I'm old.
He's 43, so we're gonna you two against me. Let's do it.
Let's go. 1v1.
I'll take just any of you who wants to be on my team. Yeah, cool. I got you. Yeah, I got you. But it's just a running joke.
Yeah. No,
It's just a running joke. It's just a running joke. We got a lot of inside jokes that if you tune into us for the first time, you would not understand. In chat, we'll joke about them a lot. There's a ton of them. So that's what's been fun about this community, and that's why I wanted to do this event, is just because I feel like it's a good, tight-knit community, and there's a lot of people that I feel like are here every night or every other stream, and you almost get to know people in chat, and they get to know each other, and it's really fun having the chat live there. Obviously, as you said at the start of this thing, it's not like radio, so it's really fun being able to communicate with people live like that. It's a little different live in person, of course, but no, it's fun, and there's a lot of inside jokes that have been born through that, which makes it even more enjoyable. So that's the explanation for why college basketball and me is such a controversial topic.
I tell everybody, I know.
But anything else you want to say, and then we'll bring ads up here, and then person back left, I forgot your name, I'm sorry.
You back there. But again, I agree with you. Like, as a person who's newer to your guys' community, and I don't say for the most part, I think we're mostly on the same page, all three of us, for the most part. Like, I think there's little slight differences that we have. Any disagreement I have with you guys, your community jumps on me, and that's cool. Like, I appreciate it, I like it, and again, it's all in the grand scheme of things of we're trying to win a championship, we're trying to get there. So, I appreciate you guys having this. This is a lot of fun. I look forward to doing this again with you guys, and Blazers get the dub. So you're gonna have to do it against bad teams, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that was the.
You don't want to do it against like a good team and there's a chance
Like
to
Gary
lose.
Payton, we don't want to ruin our win percentage on watch parties.
Right. Yeah. You're gonna pass it to Shaden Sharp at the end of the quarter, like, next game against the Lakers or something.
Yeah. Might have to do a good team. I wanted this first game to be a good experience where everybody was in a good mood after a game instead of everybody up here booing us because they're mad, So.
But people also want us to rant, so we're not going to rant. When
Yeah, how many of you guys were secretly rooting for us to lose so you got to see us be mad in person? Well, that's a challenge for one of you guys that comes up.
I'll say something against Eric Mad. If you want me to.
Oh, yeah, get Eric mad.
All right, let's go. All right, so Blazers, what's their record now? 20 and
19 and 17. I'm trying to give them too much credit.
19 and 17. 8th place in the Western Conference. Shouldn't they be looking to trade Dame right now or what? You saw the picks.
That's when you throw
You saw all
no.
you saw the picks they got from Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell. Dame could get that. Might as well start over with Shaden Sharp too. Trade him. All right, go.
You have to wait. I think it's about 4 weeks still. No, 3.5 weeks. Because Dame is currently ineligible to be traded, so.
No, but you start looking now. You
can't
do
even
your
trade
due
him right
diligence now.
so
Due diligence now.
You're just showing your lack of CBA knowledge because Dame can't
That's
even
true.
trade.
That's not false. That's not false.
We're very pro Dame on this channel. People confuse that with not allowing criticism of Dame like we went through last stream. But
Steven, last game, I was criticizing Dame for how he did not control things the final 5 minutes of that Golden State game. While I was criticizing Dame, there's a dude in here these freaking morons never criticize Dame. I'm like, I don't know what you guys want me to do. I'm literally
You
doing it
criticized
right
him
now.
when he just got ripped by Dante DiVincenzo.
They
played terrible defense on the other end.
Yeah, he was bad the last 5 minutes, and I was
The last
criticizing him
30
for it.
seconds, he literally just stood there.
Yeah, and I was doing it. So, but there's people out there that think I will never say a bad word about any game he has, and that's just not true. We enjoy ranting.
yeah,
We don't shy away.
To us, we will talk about things that happen on the court, but in terms of loyalty back to someone who I believe deserves the fan base's loyalty, I don't think that anyone who thinks that way, I don't think Dame deserves that. I think we begged him to stay for years. Now you don't kick him out the door once he starts aging or whatever. So that's just how I feel.
I don't disagree.
Round of applause. All right,
I
man.
don't disagree. So, having said that, Eric, is he the best Blazer of all time?
You trying to shake our hands?
Yes, I was sorry.
I don't know what
I was
this
asking-
hand.
I
I didn't want to leave
I didn't
you
want to
hanging.
leave you
or
hanging.
anything.
I didn't want to treat you like Josh Hart. So
I talk with my hands sometimes.
yeah.
But is he the best Blazer of all time? Because he's a scoring leader.
I know you guys had this debate on your last
So what's
show.
your take?
So I've said this many times, but I grew up in the Clyde Drexler era. I was 11 in 1990. So that was like my prime development years watching basketball and things like that. Never thought I would love a Blazer as much as I did Clyde Drexler. But it's kind of the opposite of the Jordan versus LeBron debate for me, because watching Jordan in his prime and stuff, I forgot who just said this today. Was it Jamal Crawford or somebody? Someone just said, if you watch Jordan play, there's no way you can think that anyone will ever be better at basketball than him. And so that's kind of how I felt about Drexler. But I think Dame deserves to be the greatest Blazer of all time ahead of him. And
Do
it's
you
super close, but yeah, I do think.
Do you consider him embracing being a Portland Trailblazer as part of that debate, or does that not matter to you?
I mean, obviously on court should matter the most, but just the fact that he wants to finish his career here, he wants to win a championship here, he could very easily ask to go to a different team at any point, still could, technically. So if that happens, I'll have to see how I feel about that. But just the fact that not only does he want to be a Blazer, but he wants to win a championship here or die trying, I respect that a lot. I also respect that he notices that there are teams, look at the Clippers, like Kawhi Leonard, they give up their whole future for Paul George, and they haven't won crap with them. Now they've been injured and stuff, but like Dame realizes that the grass isn't always greener, and I do believe that if you put Damian Lillard on a team with the same talent level, not exactly the same team because he would obviously be the same position as Terry Porter, but like if you put him on a level of team that Clyde Drexler had, I think Dame is just as good, if not better, team success-wise. So I can't penalize him because he hasn't had the greatest talent around him compared to Clyde, who had played with guys who made all-star teams. One year we had 3 all-stars on the same team. Now you can argue maybe this year we have 3 players that deserve it. They're not all going to make it just due to how many good players there are in the West. But I think when it comes down to it for me, if you put Dame on a good team, a good talented Blazer team, I think the winning part of it kind of is negated by the fact that he hasn't really had the talent to say, oh, he should have won a championship or he should have taken his team to 2 finals like Clyde did.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't all be about championships, right? Like, even I agree to a certain extent, like, it doesn't matter what he's about the community. For me, I try to do it as much on the court as I can. That's why I have Clyde number 1, but I mean, I think if Dame continues at this pace, maybe in a year or 2, I'd have him number 1 as well. So, and for the record, Tori's wrong. I don't like Drew Eubanks. Just like my 8-year-old, he hates him too. I don't like him either. Don't believe him what he says.
Yeah, if you didn't hear our last podcast, you might not have gotten it, but yeah.
What's wrong with Drew Eubanks?
He's fine. I mean,
He's like the hardest worker on the team.
he's working energy. Let's go.
Anyway, thank you, Steven.
Thank you, Steven.
Round of applause for Steven. We'll have to get him and Eric debating on one of our podcasts, and I can just sit back and drink some lemonade or something at some point. That would be a nice podcast off. But yeah, thank you. Now we're gonna try and go through these fast because I don't want to keep you guys too long. If any of you are leaving like very soon and want to get up, let me know. Like right now, I do have an order here. You gotta leave soon.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get you. Do you have to go first? He can go first. All right. Yeah, we'll get you up here.
While he's walking up, let's get the donations.
Yeah, shout out Jordan Baker, GG Sticker Hippopotamus, clap in.
GG Sticker,
Thank
we
you
won.
for the $5 dono, Jordan Baker. People love the hippopotamus. And then shout out, do you want to read this one off since he's dissing me here?
Well,
Yeah, you're good there.
Excuse me, wait, what am I doing?
Jackson's member message.
You're just sitting up here looking awkward. That's what you're doing up here. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna have you. We're gonna give you the mic in a second. We're just reading off the member messages and whatnot.
Jackson had a member message. Need a 2.2 member emote. That'd be cool. I think we definitely need that. And then Daniel G had a $10 donation since you didn't want alcohol or a drink. He said that you told him to donate post-game, so there you go. He could have just handed you $10 or something. Jeez.
I know, but I wanted to give him some love on post-game. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was offering me alcohol. I'm like, I don't want to be drunk on a stream. If I drink one, then I might want another. That could be a problem. So,
All right.
Anyway, so what's just give me your name and just you can say whatever you want outside of like cursing or anything. Obviously,
All right,
bad.
that's fine. Well, I'm Josh. I'm from Sherwood, and then
Cool.
3 of my friends back there were all from Sherwood. I mainly just want your guys' feedback with, I feel like Walker's played decently well last 2 games. And then who would you rather have long term if Walker keeps us up? Trendon Watford or Jabari Walker? And if Walker continues to play good, who would you say is the better player and contributes more to the team?
That was very well done. Okay,
Good
see,
job.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Eric, I'll let you answer that. You could sit up here until we throw you back into the crowd.
So, as if you watch the show, you probably know I was huge. I went crazy when we drafted Jabari Walker. I was really excited that we got him. I felt like he could contribute possibly. I didn't think it would be this year just simply because we had too many players. But there was a point in the season where I felt like the bench was really struggling and Chauncey never gave him a chance. And then after 10 games, he puts him in and he kind of struggled because he hadn't played in 2 or 3 weeks. And I felt like that was kind of the wrong move if we were going to see what we had with him. But I was happy to see him get a chance, mostly due to injuries and sickness last game. And then I was stoked to see Chauncey put him in the first quarter of this game, especially instead of Gary Payton. Not necessarily because I didn't want to see Gary Payton, but I was really excited to see that he got rewarded for his play. And he's just such a good role player.
He had 1 rebound against the Hornets at Charlotte, where he was full extension, and it was a kick out 3 to Shaden.
Yeah.
And I like Tori, I talked about with you. I'm baseball, basketball isn't my forte, but that was insane to see. He's how tall is he exactly, Jabari?
Well, without shoes, I think he's 6'7".
Yeah, he's 6'7", and then his reach is so long, and he used his arms to just get above everybody, and then kick out 3 to who I believe was Sharp, it was that 3 and those points would not have been possible without his rebounding, and his rebounding I feel adds something where the question I asked about Watford adds something that Watford doesn't contribute as much to what we need.
Whoa. I grab this thing. I think there's a big difference that you see with Walker and Watford. One is Jabari Walker has a more clear-cut, defined role, whereas with Trendon Watford, I don't know what his role is supposed to be right now. Walker obviously is going to come in, play the 4 spot, can even play him next to another forward. I think he's maybe a little better defending on the ball, maybe a little bit smarter than Trendon Watford in that regard. I don't know about smarter, but
they're both pretty smart.
He had some good moments though. I don't think Jabari's a guy that you worry about falling asleep as much off the ball. And he's a rookie, whereas Watford's in his second year. Watford's had a lot of moments recently where he's fallen asleep off the ball or just made some really silly defensive mistakes. But Jabari's going to shoot the 3 ball more than Trendon, so he's kind of a 3-and-D guy. The 3 ball hasn't really arrived yet, but I think it will. And then he rebounds well. So it's very clear-cut, okay, well, this dude is going to help us on the boards. He can hopefully shoot 35% of his threes. We don't know what he is as a shooter yet. And then defensively, I think he had some really good moments in this game, whereas Trendon Watford is stuck between a 4 and a 5 spot. He's not a good rim protector at the 5 spot. He just doesn't have the length or the athleticism to be one. And then the problem is with playing him at a 4 is if you're playing him next to a center who can't shoot, Trendon Watford also isn't much of a threat from beyond the 3-point line. And he's kind of proven to be a subpar 3-point shooter. And I think the book is out on that, and teams know that, and teams will sag off him, whereas Jabari Walker, we don't know what he is as a shooter yet. So Watford has talent. He can handle the ball, pass, do some things, make some things happen. The problem is what is his role off the bench playing next to guys that are better than him, that are going to have the ball in their hands more. He has to be able to play better off those guys. One of those things is being able to shoot the 3 ball, but then defensively he has to clean up his mistakes. Jabari is just he has a clear-cut role on the floor as the 5th guy, whereas Watford doesn't, and I think that's a difference in terms of Walker coming in and looking good the past couple of games, whereas Watford hasn't looked as well, and Chauncey decided to play Jabari Walker ahead of Trendon Watford tonight. I think that's probably the easiest way I could chalk it up. Both are solid, both have potential. Walker is just more of a clear-cut role guy right now.
Yeah, and for me, so it's what are your expectations of that player in the game? And as a role player, neither of them are going to be a star anytime soon. So rebounding is probably the most important with that second unit, since we've seen them struggle, especially on the defensive rebounding. And Jabari Walker is clear-cut a better rebounder. 3-point shooting would also be nice. At this point, it's hard to say either one's really above the other one because Jabari rarely shoots them. Watford hasn't really been great at shooting them either, so that's probably a wash. In terms of closeouts, I don't think it's close. Jabari Walker has been much better closing out on and making rotations.
Little things.
And Watford's been absolutely brutal on those at times. He's fouled three-point shooters several times this year. He's gone after pump fakes and gotten out of position and got blown by a lot. So just those things alone are the most important things to me for their role if they want to earn time moving forward. And I think it's pretty clear that Jabari is starting to look a lot better in those areas than Watford. Now, the only argument you'd have for Watford, I think, is that they do still view him as a small ball 5, whereas I don't think they quite think that of Jabari Walker yet. We haven't seen him have to play against a center in the post or anything like that, so we don't know how he would do in those situations. And I think they're kind of protecting him from that. So unfortunately, I think for Jabari, he's still going to have to contend with several other players like Winslow and Gary Payton and Sharp and Nasir Little when he comes back for minutes, whereas Watford still has a clear-cut path to minutes if either Eubanks is a bad matchup for a team or Nurk or Eubanks is out for a game.
Yeah, also a small ball 5 isn't something you're going to be able to use every single game. A guy that can play the 4 consistently is something you can use every game, so that's also part of the role thing. By the way, hey from chat says, Josh from Sherwood with great hair will be remembered forever as the first Blazers Uprise Live fan guest appearance. Yeah, your hair is making me feel self-conscious about mine, since chat always wants to troll me about my haircuts. So you get the pass from them. That's a better compliment than I've ever gotten, so congrats. Anyway, any final statements you want, go ahead, or just, you can say bye to chat and thank you to hey, I don't know, whatever you want to do, man.
Thank you, hey, I don't know. But thank you for you guys. You guys were very nice throughout.
Yeah.
Like, I talked to both of you guys, and you talked to, like, all of us. Like, I appreciate that very much. And so
cool to have you on.
it made it a very cool environment, and it's definitely something, like, you guys should do this again.
Nice.
Because then word gets around, chat sees it's going to be, like, it's amazing, and then more and more people, and then it's going to be more than what we had tonight. But thank you
Can I
guys
use
so much.
this in my next ad?
Sure.
Better than I advertised.
Sure. No,
All right,
but
cool.
you guys made us feel welcome, and I appreciate that. So.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
you saying that.
Appreciate you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Good to meet you, man.
Nice to meet all
Go
of you.
Mariners.
Go Mariners.
All right, then we got. I'll let you decide what you want me to call you, because I know you got a different YouTube name and obviously first name.
We'll just do that.
Yeah, cool. All right, we got Abs up here. We're in our mock off season, so we've talked to you before. But what's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
Bye, guys.
See ya. Have a good night.
All right. Before I say anything, can we all just give one more round of applause to these guys for putting this on, doing this for everybody? It was great.
Now that everyone's gone.
Yeah, actually, Josh took my question about Jabari Walker, so I'm gonna have to switch into something different.
Come up with it on the spot like we do with literally.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so with the Blazers bench becoming more healthy as time's going on, and the impending possible return of Nas, your pick of the litter for who would be first off the bench to give the best mix of defense and offense for the Blazers.
For me, I think it's got to be Gary Payton. I think he can just come in and change the game with his hustle. And I think he's kind of underrated on the offensive end in terms of cutting. We saw he's not afraid to take a shot from the corner if he's open. We've seen Josh struggle to do that at times. But I think it's pretty clear that he needs to be the first sub in, and just maybe for Ant or Dame, and then just run that lineup with Hart, Gary Payton, and Jeremy as your wings, and see if you can just lock teams down for a little bit and have enough offense to build some leads. And then you can fully bring in some of the other bench players and hope that you can just hold on to the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the starting lineup you have a ton of shot creation, so being able to sub in that lockdown defensive guy in first is a good mix with the starting lineup. I think it becomes a situation where you sub in GP2 for Josh Hart, unless Anthony Simons is really struggling defensively, or even if Damian Lillard doesn't have it going, you can maybe change it up on a game-to-game basis. Obviously, you're not going to cut Ant or Dame's minutes, but also GP2 can come into the game earlier if you have a star going off for the other team to start the game. You know, Luka Doncic might have 10 points in the first 4 minutes. It would be nice to, sub in Gary Payton II to be that guy defensively that you can use to guard him with. So I think GP2 will be the first guy off the bench, and I think it makes the most sense just because he has the most elite skill, and that's the skill that they need to complement the starting lineup.
And also, too, we have till February 9th, so a little over a month here. Hopefully they add the next answer to that question, who should be the second guy off the bench. Hopefully that is still going to be answered here to come, because I don't really feel like they have a clear-cut then next person that you have to bring in, especially come playoff time. I think right now there's 6 players for sure that could be in a rotation, and we somehow either between people stepping up into roles or playing better or addressed at the trade deadline or buyout market, I think they have to add one more piece. Someone mentions Nas in chat. Hopefully Nas comes back and is looking a little more like his normal athletic self than he looked earlier in the season. And hopefully he can be that 7th man. I don't know, like Shaden could possibly step up in the future. It's kind of hard to know because he's had some really up and down streaks this year. We've had games where he's shot like 70% from the field for a week, and then there's games where he doesn't hit a shot for a week unless it's like a wide open dunk. So I think it's just a matter of finding either someone who's more consistent with that bench unit on the team already, or just adding that piece later.
Yep, cool. Anything else?
Do you guys have any new, maybe teaser here, trade targets that you've looked at possibly for filling out that bench lineup?
First off, see you, Parker.
Bye, Parker.
See you, man. And then, no, not really off the top of my head. It's just so tough with how strict things are with the hard cap. Yeah, the hard cap, and then the luxury tax. Will Jody want to play it? Maybe play. Will Jody want to pay it? Maybe she will. Maybe she will if it's for a good enough player. But if it's not for a good enough player, then no. And then also the whole salary matching thing. It's just really tough. I do want to do some videos kind of going over some, but it's hard without just like pulling up the entire NBA, the entire, the roster of every team and looking at everybody, which I will do normally when I get these questions in chat. Is I'll pull up the trade machine and just be pouring through teams trying to find guys, but it's tough given our situation this year. So if you come up with any, feel free to.
Yeah, I can't say anything on air, but yeah, I think it's clearly a case where they're going to look at. I mean, obviously they love OG or someone else, but I just don't think those are realistic. So I think it's more guys, just like cheaper guys. There's still a lot of them, but yeah.
Some. Yeah, we'll get you up here in 1 minute. You got another minute? Yeah. 2 minutes. Cool. Yeah, we'll get you up here, Jared. And then so sometimes guys you might not think are possible are apparently possible, and who knows? Obviously, I'd love to be pleasantly surprised, but yeah, everybody wants to zoom in on the paper, Eric, because everybody saw you writing down something, but it does not show up because it's overexposed. Chat, what do you think the paper says? Give me your best guess in chat.
Next time, come to the party and maybe I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just gonna say right now, looking at the paper, I don't disagree. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't disagree either. So anyway, yeah, that would be a phenomenal trade target. I just can't say it. So.
all right. Cheers, guys.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming up here. Good to meet you. All right, and then we got Jared. And then any of you still remaining here want to come up? Do you want to come?
I'll ask a
up after Jared?
Yeah.
Cool. And then anybody else that wants to come up, let me know. You want to come up after him? All right. And then Christian, yeah, you gotta get up here because you helped set up this whole thing. So, Daniel, you want to come up? With
Yeah, I'll come up too.
All right. So, thinking like 5 minutes per person. We'll do Jared, him, Christian. That's 5 people. That's 25 minutes. Maybe we'll do 20 minutes for the rest of the stream and then get out of here. But all right. So, I've met Jared. I just realized how far away I am from the mic. I just realized how far away I was from the mic. Hopefully, chat heard me. I guess chat didn't need to hear me. I was talking to the people in here. But all right. So, Jared, I've met multiple times.
Yeah.
Gone to a game with you before, a couple times before, and so this is more so talking to a friend, like, somebody I've met before. But granted, it's cool to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. By the way, all you guys are my friends, all right? Not just Jared, all right? I just want to get that out there before anybody gets upset, all right? You guys are all my friends. I love you all. But, Jared, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming out. Your hair is looking great. We got so many people with all this great hair up here on the show, just making me feel terrible. I might go hide in my hood for now. Anyway, the mic's yours. There you go.
Yeah, just these luscious locks here, man.
Yeah,
Just,
luscious. Is that what you call them?
yeah.
Or do the ladies call them?
You can't
Nah.
call your
Luscious
own hair
locks.
luscious.
Nah.
Just make sure you talk up.
Yeah. So, so I just want to say, thank you guys for putting this on, first of all, and what you guys do for the community, first and foremost. So, I kind of have a question. So, like, it's pretty much, I think, obvious that we're not gonna get like OG or anybody like that. I don't want to say too much as far as, I know you want to do the content, but do you think somebody as in like another forward would be the move? Like, say, for instance, like a Patrick Williams, for example.
I'll let the trade expert.
I mean, I don't know if the Bulls, even if they blow it up, I don't know if they're going to trade Patrick Williams or consider him part of a rebuild. I mean, definitely those type of players that still kind of fit, whether it's in the Rocco trade exception of $6.5 million or less, or if, something like that. I think he's a little over that, but you could get in the conversation if it's just over that. If it's like Winslow and someone else, maybe has to be willing to, Jody to pay the tax for that player. But I think even if the Bulls traded someone like that, it's probably a little steeper than they want to pay. Now maybe with the Bulls you could do something with the pick you already owe them and like protecting it less. Maybe they take a risk that we're gonna falter in the play-in or something, and then that pick becomes more valuable if we lower the protections or unprotect it. So maybe something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough. A lot of the teams. For young players, unless they're in the last year of their contract and are on teams that it's questionable whether they're going to pay them, and they were offered a good amount of money in the offseason and turned it down. So yeah, those kind of players would probably be more realistic.
I will stand for the player mentioned on this piece of paper, so I approve. I will not mention it.
Trevin says I wrote down Joe Ingles.
Yeah, I mean, Trevin leaked it, so you might as well just Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Ingles, bringing him back.
I mean, technically, I guess Joe Ingles fits in the trade exception, but I find it hard to believe that after they talked about how awesome it was to get his bird rights, and then they just let him walk, and then don't even pay him. I find it hard to believe that they would then like try to trade for him. But yeah, I definitely think some type of forward that, like I said, can either shoot or is a lockdown defender. It would be helpful if they were, okay at one and really good at one. So like a shooter that's okay on defense, or a lockdown defender that can occasionally hit a three. I think that kind of stuff. I think that kind of stuff is the best option for them.
Right. And like, I say this because like we were mentioning with the forward situation, and like Walker's kind of that clear cut like guy ahead of Watford right now, and with Watford's development, would you potentially look to trade him if it gets to that point? Since we're
Watford?
since we're trying to contend.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question. I do know that like a lot of teams in the offseason did call for Watford. They did. There are teams interested in him. He does have some value, but primarily it's because his contract is so great, and so like, but the problem with his contract though is he's basically a minimum contract, so it's hard to use him in a trade as anything other than like the fluffer of a trade. So you still need to add the contracts to a trade. I mean, maybe like I said, if you trade for a player with the trade exception, then you don't have to match salary. Maybe Watford and some sort of pick compensation is enough to get that player. But it's really hard to trade a minimum contract to find another player that's worthy of that and stay under the tax, unless that player is really worth doing that. And if he is, I find it hard to believe we could get them for Watford in seconds or whatever. So it's just kind of a tricky situation to trade him. But I definitely do see scenarios where he would be a throw-in because another team really wants him to put a trade over the top.
Yep, absolutely. All right, 30 seconds left for Jared.
Yeah, and I was just kind of thinking of that to like maximize his value currently.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because he's still, I don't know, he hasn't really done a lot to maximize his value on the court. I mean, teams still see potential with him, and like I said, his contract is good. But yeah, so, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Cool.
But yeah,
Thank you,
anyway,
man.
thank you
Good to
guys.
see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
It's also a really nice jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice jacket,
Yeah.
nice hat, yeah.
Looking
Well,
fly.
the Nike store was open again. That's where I got that.
All right, we got you.
While you're walking up, let's get caught up on the
Cool, yeah, let's get
donuts
caught up
real
on
quick.
those. You sit down and we'll read these off here. Who was the last one? Because I got buried. So it's
I
gonna
think
be
it was
you. It was
Dro.
Drone.
Yeah.
Drono.
We got a Drono $2. Does Keon lose minutes now? How can we get him PT?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be him or Sharp probably out of the rotation. It's going to be Keon versus Sharp, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. One of those two is likely out of the rotation. You saw Chauncey try to play everybody tonight.
Yeah.
I felt like that kind of ruins the rhythm, so he's going to have to pick or choose some games. There might be some matchups where we need him, or we need a guard, because Ant or Dame is in foul trouble, or maybe they missed a game. So they definitely need to. I don't think it's bad to keep him on the roster, but I find it hard to believe he'll get much playing time. And that was one of the reasons we didn't like him as one of the main parts of that trade either, is because we didn't see a path for him playing this year.
Absolutely. And then we got Connors, and then I think there's one more after that.
Yeah, Connor had a $20 donation. Thank you so much, Connor. Hope you all had a good watch party. Sorry I couldn't make it. Connor actually was going to come along with his twin brother, but they got tickets to the game, so they went to that instead, but that's cool. If you're still in the area, though, you could stop by, but whatever.
They're riding the Max home. They're Max riders.
Hyper Prime with a $5 donation.
What's up, Hyper?
W Stream, awesome to see Steven collaborated with y'all. This will forever go down a goated stream. Yep, there you go.
Yeah,
it was
starting the year off
fun
right.
to see
Trying to
everyone here.
branch out, do more things, and this is one of them. So
And
thank
then
you.
Bob and Weave had a $5 donation.
Bob
Later,
and Weave
Jared.
up in here. See you, Jared.
NBA stat lines have been absurd. Time for Silver/NBA to look at the rules regarding offensive freedom, or maybe move the 3-point line back a bit or something.
Is
it's
good
not
stat
too
lines bad?
I think they
Donovan
want good
Mitchell
stat
dropping
lines.
71 is
Yeah.
means they need to change the rules. I mean, maybe they need to not give him 25 free throws. That's what I would start with if you really hate that he scored 71. But
They did try to take out the foul baiting. So.
yeah, I mean, you could move the three-point line back a little bit, but I mean, at what point is it going to be half court then? Because people are getting better and better at shooting. I mean, I don't think anything needs to drastically change. But thank you, Bob and Wee, for the $5 dono. It was a crazy day today. Is just what it was. And then Michael V was the last one.
Yep,
Shout out. Michael V, I got this one.
All right.
$2 dono says, how high is PG-13's trade value right now? Very high. I don't think they're looking to trade him at all, and Portland doesn't have the assets for him unless they gave up probably too much. So he's not really somebody I would consider debating about on trades, really, because his value, they're not looking to trade him.
Yeah. Well, as long as they have Steve Ballmer and they're relatively healthy, I don't see them trading one of their big pieces that they gave up so much for right now. I mean, maybe a couple years down the road, but not right now.
Yep, absolutely. All right.
Thank you for patiently waiting.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Make sure you speak loudly.
So my question.
Wait, who are you?
Oh, my name's Sam.
Okay.
Sam Dooley?
Yes, Sam Dooley.
Yep, legend.
My question is, so I realize that it's tough to tell, but if you guys were to like gaze into your crystal balls, so to speak,
Like crystal balls?
yeah,
Okay.
like crystal, like you could like see the future.
Okay.
I did have a thumbnail with me looking into a crystal ball
Okay.
before, so I'll play along.
Okay, if you were to look into the crystal ball and see the future, like, who would you say would have a better NBA career, at least based off the evidence at this point? Shaden Sharp or Ivy?
Or Jaden Ivey.
Good question.
Ooh,
Because you got to think long term on that.
yeah. I'll let you, just because this is such a tough question, you can answer it first.
Well, I feel like Sharp has like more athleticism, but athleticism doesn't necessarily mean like scoring points. I don't really have an answer for that. That's why I'm asking the experts up here.
I love it.
Yeah.
I was actually tossing that over to Eric, and he tried to pass it on to you.
I want to let him answer. No, I think, it's very easy to see a scenario where either one of them, you're talking in a redraft, 10 years from now, going top 3. I think Ivy, if he ever can lock in a 3-point shot consistently, you saw his burst and his ability to get to the rim. So that's really nice. It's something that Sharp is more reliant on, either a step back or a pass out to him to shoot right now, or a lob pass. So I think as of right now, it's just easier to see how Jaden Ivey could continue that to be a good player. I do think Sharp has the higher ceiling, but I think Ivey's more of a sure thing if I have to put it on paper right now, that he will eventually be better, but it's very close.
I'll say Sharp for one reason. He has the right mentorship, and I think that matters, and I think that's mattered with Anthony Simons. Dame mentoring him has been clutch. Now Sharp not only has Dame, but also has Ant. Hopefully Ant will, mentor him like Dame's mentored him.
From the D side.
Yeah. So GP2 as a defensive mentor is huge. That's why I ended up higher on that signing the more I thought about it, just as a guy to come in and mentor young players. And Sharp, he can even help Dame out. That's why I like the GP2 signing now, when at the time I was questioning it. I'll take Sharp because I think he's in the right situation, not a lot of pressure on him, not playing for a losing organization. We're hovering around 500, even though some fans hate it, it's not losing. So I think Sharp with the mentorship, I think that will win out in the end if I had to put it on paper. But that is a really good, tough debate that's up in the air and a really tough question.
I was also told by the chat from Taylor that I need to ask to touch your hair.
Nope. Taylor's
Okay.
the only one that can touch my hair.
Okay.
If Taylor showed up, he could touch my hair since he's so obsessed with my hair. I wouldn't. I would hate it, but I'd also let it happen. But
The swoop you've got going on is really impressive.
just got a haircut recently. Yeah. So I got tired of.
If only you
literally
would have been
5
here.
people- Yeah, 5 people a stream coming in here like, Tori, what is your hair? It's like, man, I've never seen your face. So
You've gotta share your hair regimen.
Sports clips and some type of gel. I don't know what type of. That's
Okay.
it. All right, and shampooing and washing.
Okay.
Somewhat regularly, at least.
Well done.
Yeah.
It's working. Whatever
We talked about your showering last stream.
Oh wow.
Yeah, chat's getting a little wild. We need to move on.
Oh, I can't show the paper. I can't.
Nope, can't show the paper. I know Trevin was asking you.
Sam. Nice
Thank you
to
to
meet
meet you,
gentlemen.
man.
Hey.
Thank you.
And
for
thank
coming.
you for bringing us to this
Top.
cathedral of basketball.
Top secret.
Yeah,
You didn't see that.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah. All right, who was next? You were next. Cool.
Drew, why do you want me to chug a water bottle on stream? It's so weird. I'll drink water for you. but- What's up? Make sure you talk loud.
Tell me to do it if they donate.
Yeah. How much for? I still need to eat my nachos.
Sorry, I can
Drink some water.
No, they sell hot dogs. I was saying we got one for Eric. I'll buy you one.
Yeah, Eric got to eat a hot dog with some.
Hot street.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, what's up? How you doing? What's your name?
Hi YouTube, I'm Bootstrap. I'm using this ID in both YouTube and the Discord channel. So I'm an international student in Oregon State from China. So this also shows the diversity of our channel, right? So this is the first time. This is the first time I came here for this crazy and very fun community. I'm very thankful for you guys to start this organizing job, and to some degree, this live watch party is more fun than living watching in the Moda Center, because it has an atmosphere, but we don't have a person. Now we have a team, so this is even better than I expected. I drive here to Portland from Corvallis. 2 hours drive earlier today. So I think this long drive, this journey is worth for it. It's very worthy. Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I owe you some. I'll give you free merch just because you drove that far. By the way, let me just plug this because I forgot to do that earlier. We are dropping merch soon, so if you were one of the first 10 people that bought watch party tickets, I said there was a giveaway. It will be for some merch, but man, Corvallis, 2 hours. That's quite a trek. I know, you're already Eric's favorite person because you're going to Oregon State and he's an Oregon State alum. So Oregon State's on the come up sports wise. Well, not basketball, but football. They're on the come up. But yeah, man, good to meet you. It's cool to be able to bring. It's honestly really cool to be able to bring people together from across the world, from China. We have a lot of people in Australia that watch us. Norway, like any country you name, I think there's somebody out there that watches the channel, and that's really cool to be able to unite people from different places, different backgrounds, and it's honestly humbling for myself to be able to have created something with Eric that is able to do that. It's really cool, man. So we appreciate you being here and making that a long drive.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So can I start my question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we choose 1 or 2 questions. One is that shall we treat our young assets like the Shaden Sharp, like the Keon Johnson, like maybe the potential unlocked first round picks from Bulls, to get a current star, maybe like a 3, like an OG or Paul George, or maybe a slightly cheaper one like the Burks from the Pistons or somebody. Option 1. Or we choose option 2, be more patient and we tolerant for the current limited ceiling and waiting for their growth, like Shaden Sharp, like Keon Johnson, JB3 or somebody. Even this may waste the prime of Dame for maybe another 1 or 2 years. Shall we wait or shall we trade everything for now?
I think that's the question that every Blazer fan is debating about and will be debating about until February is how long do you sit on your young assets versus when do you put them all together, cobble them all together, and make an all-in move. if you're going to make a trade, trading out a Shaden Sharp, a Keon Johnson, unprotecting that 2023 first to Chicago in order to trade future first. Like, if you're going to do all that, you have to know that that trade will take you to contention, because you are risking a ton of future value, giving up on the potential of Shaden Sharp, giving up on those future firsts, maybe having to trade unprotected future firsts. It's given up a lot. You got to know that it gets you over that hump. It has to take you to contention where you're a team that's, one of the top 2 or 3 favorites in the West. So OG Anunoby might be the guy to get it done, but I'm not sure. That's why I wouldn't, trade Shaden Sharp for him right now. Is can this team get there without making a trade? That's the other question. If they just upgrade the bench, because if you can get there while having these young pieces, and you can get there just by upgrading the bench, then you obviously do that, and you contend now and play the long game with those assets. So that's really kind of the debate. There's no right or wrong answer there. That's just the debate that I think a lot of people are having, and it's something that I consistently think about. Eric, what do you think?
To me, I mean, obviously there's certain players, if you can get this, like if you can get a superstar, I think you have to consider it. But I think it's going to be easier to do that in the off season. What if LeBron requests a trade or something and you have a way to possibly get him, or, things fall apart in Brooklyn and you maybe have a really good offer with Sharp or whatever pieces you want to include. And also, if we make the playoffs and that pick conveys to Chicago, we also have an easier way to trade future picks and make a move similar to what Minnesota and Cleveland did this offseason. So I think you try to shore up your holes to give this team the best possible chance, but I also think that it's still more likely, short of that miracle trade happening, which like I said, is more feasible in the off season. I still think it's more likely for a team like Portland in a small market to have a young guy pop, and that leads you to a contention window, versus making the perfect trade that leads to that window. So I always lean towards keeping draft picks and young players, unless it's like a no-brainer. And like, obviously, if we can get LeBron or KD, you pretty much have to do it no matter what the cost is, and if you can pair that one of those guys with Dame. But yeah, so that's just how I feel.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I agree with Eric, because I think it's not only a show. It's a game. It's a sports that reflects our spirit. And also, you just mentioned LeBron James. So for me, I appreciate his talent and his successful career, but I don't disagree with his mentality. I mean, if LeBron James came to Trailblazers, maybe all our futures will only benefit for his data, for his fluent, which is not that helpful for our game, for our ranks. So maybe I was partially wrong, but personally I don't like LeBron James that much, even though I appreciate some of his powerful and successful career. So
if you compare Dame with LeBron and you still keep like one of Grant and Ant too, I think that you're pretty much guaranteed to be a contender.
Put a ring on it. I don't want to put up a ring finger because that might look wrong on screen. But put a ring on it if that's the case.
A ring is also how LeBron was attracted to his. It's also how KD was attracted to Warriors. So here's another of my concern is that we struggled for a couple weeks. We lost to Warriors, lost to Standards and some other games, which I see Josh Hart is one of the very few players who play seriously, who really wanted to win. So I think these struggles, including the Dame struggle in the last 5 minutes against Warriors, these may depress him, Josh Hart, Jeremy Grant, and some players who really want to win. So we know that the extension, the players option and other options will come very, very fast, maybe this this month, this month or the next month. My biggest concern is that our struggling recently will decrease their interest on extension even with our team, which is we finally got these good wings, Jay Grant, George Hart, and potentially other guys. But I'm really concerned about this one. So I think today our win against the Pistons is a great win. Not only the victory itself, but also how we won. If we won today as the game we won against the Hornets, that will be still another concern. But so when this game ends, I say that we see hope. Not only win the team, but how we win. Okay, GP2 is back. We have more options. We have more chances to get a higher ceiling. And this ceiling is not only a one-time giving out all the future. We still have our young talent. I think our average age is like the fifth youngest, right? Fifth or sixth. So we still have things to do. And also our young players, they are properly mentored from Dame and Ant from the offensive side, and also GP2 from the defensive side. I think they will grow with a successful or at least a healthier career path, whether they play for us with a long term or if they're traded to other teams. If they get traded, they will be traded healthily. So also I will promote some of my old theories in that we may trade. Everybody can be traded. But if you trade somebody, trade him at his prime, not his bottom. This is the part of my theory.
Sell high, don't sell low.
Yep.
Trade somebody when you can get the most for them, not when their value's too low. Yeah, man. Very well said. And I love your passion. I love your energy. I love your energy. Thank you.
Yeah, and I agree. Like,
any of us supposed to go up after this?
well, like,
How do we follow
well, because like Dame, people were saying trade Dame last summer or whatever, but there were also people saying he's washed now, and like it doesn't make sense to trade Dame if he's not peak Dame or whatever, you know. So I agree, and yeah, I always lean towards, personally, it's more fun to watch a team grow and develop. I mentioned the Drexler Blazers. They were almost all drafted by the Blazers, from Terry Porter, Jerome Kersey, Clyde Drexler, Cliff Robinson, Kevin Duckworth. Like, all those guys were like, they were drafted and they grew up, they like grew together, and it was really fun. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. It'd still be cool to win either way. But yeah, like something for me, the 99-2000 Blazers, even though like I was crazy into it and wanted them to win, obviously, but that wouldn't mean as much as the Drexler teams winning a championship, or even these Damian Lillard teams winning a championship in my mind. I mean, I'll take a championship however we can get it, though.
Yeah. Bring back Sheed.
Sheed, yeah. Ball don't lie. Yep. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, JP. JP cooked some awesome food, man. Some awesome food.
All right, well, thank you to you. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Thank you,
I will
Eric.
plug it for you. I got you.
And Monday.
And
Monday. That's the next one. Yeah, I will plug it with that. Perfect,
All right,
brother.
brothers.
Have a good night.
thank you, Eric, and thank you, Tori, for
Yeah,
organizing this fun party.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
I
Thanks for
enjoyed it
coming
very
out.
much.
Drive home safe.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. All right.
Go Blazers.
Go Blazers. All right, we got Daniel, who also is a very energetic guy. I love it. It's what, 11:36, so getting late here, but we got the late night energy.
Before you say anything, let's. There was one more donation from Elias. $5 donation. Enjoy my ticket money. Couldn't make it, but as always, enjoy you guys. Eric's trade target has to be CJ.
Oh yeah, it's definitely CJ.
Yeah.
It's definitely CJ McCollum.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah.
So I was wondering where Elias was this entire time. It was like, I don't know if people will walk in past 7:10, but obviously I'm gonna watch the game. So Elias, I was wondering what happened to you, man. If you want to come to the next one that we throw, Those tickets will be good for the next one. All right. Yeah. Or just let me know if you need a refund. I know you're making it sound like you're donating them, but it's unfortunate that you couldn't come. You will be able to come to the next one without having to buy one. I got you covered on that. We will throw another one, and I'll let you guys know when that is. But thank you, Elias, for the $5 donation. Thank you for buying tickets. Wish I could have met you tonight. And have a good rest of your night, man. So now we got
Daniel.
I
was gonna say, quick aside too. Me and a couple of other people were talking outside about potentially doing rides up to here for the just like I Ubered here, but like as a group ride up here.
Yeah.
Posting in Discord and then figuring that out and going from there. But yeah.
That's what the Discord's for. Like I've been plugging it a lot and on stream, and it's just mainly hopefully for people to be able to post like, hey, I'm looking for a ride, I'm here, and somebody else can say, all right, cool, we'll carpool. Like I want it to be an easy way for the community to get together on those sorts of things, be able to talk to each other, whether it's about a game, something completely random. You guys can play video games with each other in there. Like we got voice chats, all sorts of stuff. Our mock-off season's in there. I just want that to kind of tie the community together. So in the future, definitely, if you guys want to carpool or collaborate on that sort of thing, that would be awesome, obviously. And if there's multiple people driving from Corvallis or something like that, definitely, carpooling would be the way to go. So yeah, that's a great idea for the future, as this won't be the only one. Anyway.
Awesome. So,
people are asking how tall you are, and also you're saying you're making us look small.
So I am 6'4", 6'4" to 6'5", somewhere in that range. So
it's weird because usually on streams I look huge, but I look smaller than like every. I look smaller than.
Oh yeah,
should
I sit up straight? My bad.
You don't need to sit up straight. Anyway.
No, but I was just gonna do a quick question. I have missed the last couple live stream or the end post game shows, but I know I normally don't. No, I was just so mad after the Thunder games and the Golden State game, dude. I was just like, I can't listen. Like, I'll just get so mad. But no. What I was wondering was, based on where we're at now in the season, based on your expectations, knowing the team we had going into this year, where do you feel like we're at based on your expectations at this point?
Go ahead.
Slightly above, because I was expecting this team to be a little bit above 500, but if you told me Dame was going to miss the time he was, GP2 wasn't going to play until tonight, as well as some of the other guys that have been banged up, Nasir Little, to name one. And then given how hard our schedule is, we've still played the fewest home games even after tonight out of any team in the NBA. And we've had a generally hard schedule. I would have said that we would have been below 500. So the fact that we're 19-17, it's not what people wanted after starting 10-4 or whatever we started. It feels like so long ago. I think we've exceeded them a little bit. If you told me the situation. Now, if I assumed we would have been healthy and GP2 would have played earlier, this is about where I would have expected the team to be. So that's my best answer for that. Eric, do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never look at it like, oh, if we're 19-17 after 36 games, I'd be really content with that. And at the same time, like, looking at the schedule, and as long as we were like building towards something, I would have felt like it was okay. Now, as the season's gone on, I feel like there's a lot of games they let slip away by not playing well. And so that kind of, it's hard to not let that muddy my opinion. So I definitely am a little disappointed that we are only 19-17, especially based on that start Tori talked about. But at the same time, this month is really critical. We have a 3-game road trip, and then 10 out of the next 11 games are at home. So if they can take care of business this month, I think it sets themselves up really well to get back into the conversation for a top 4 spot in the West and home court in the first round. And I think that should be the goal moving forward. And I think they've proven so far that they are capable of playing that good and well enough to possibly be one of those top 4 teams when all is said and done. But they have to go out there and prove it. So that's kind of where my expectations lie right now. I'm okay with how they've been, but I want to see them play more like they did when they were playing well, and let that go for a longer stretch and not have those periods where you lose 8 out of 10 games and seem to lose all the momentum you built.
I will say that maybe I was a little more like I was thinking 20-15 before the season began, which everyone was crapping on me about or whatever. But I also was kind of with you guys last year, where I thought we were going to be a lot better than we were last year too. But I feel like injury-wise, combined with everything that's going on, and the fact we're able to give a little bit of time to our young guys, where I don't know, Stotts probably wouldn't have played any of our young guys ever at this point. So that the fact that any of them have learned anything potentially could help us into the future. I do feel like I'm not going to say anything bad about Chauncey Billups, but I feel like coaching has ruined some of our games and lost more games than we should have. But they're all learning experiences, and I think that he already is better than Stotts, and he has room to grow way better than Stotts. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm not upset, but like I maybe was expecting a slight. Like, I didn't even think Jeremy Grant would be this good, and the fact that he's been this good and where we're at is only like the tiniest bit disappointing. I don't hate it, but like, I don't know. That's just where I'm at.
I feel like somewhere in the middle between like the sky is falling versus we're the best team ever is pretty good, because it seems like a lot of people live where we get a win like tonight. Oh, we're gonna contend. This team, look how good this team looked tonight, and then we lose and the sky is falling and the world is over and we need a tank for Wembanyama and this and that. So anything in between there, I am cool with, even if I don't agree with every bit of it. Like, as long as it's not anything dramatic, that's fine, because, I mean, you've been in chat. You've seen how it gets. It tends to be a roller coaster of emotions.
Makes Chad doing seem reasonable.
Oh.
Sorry.
Chad doing
I should have
shots
said
out here.
anything. My bad.
I can't shoot him because, I'm cool with Chad now, but you can shoot
they're all
whatever
cool.
shots you want, and I'll just sit here and...
Chad taking strays, man. That's
Dang, man.
But no, I love the
Steven.
event. I'm super happy you guys did it. I really appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man.
Good to see you,
Thank you
David.
for all the support you've shown us, man.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
play
appreciate it,
basketball sometime soon again.
100%. That's what I'm most excited for besides the season. So,
Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you for coming out. Sorry it took so long to get around. We'll do our best. But did you want to come on? Yes or no? If you want to, sure. But we got you and clearly a bot, and then we're good. And we got to end with.
we got to get out of here.
Yeah. Might rush you a little
It's
bit.
up to you.
I'll say hi.
Yeah, you can say hi. You can come here and spit a bar and then walk off. It doesn't matter.
I did come all the way out here, so.
Where'd you drive from?
I came from the east side, from Troutdale. So for Drew Eubanks, I have to admit, I'm Chris, by the way.
Nice to meet you tonight.
I have to admit, I have a soft spot for Eubanks because he's Troutdale man, and so since it's my hometown,
Of course.
so that's why.
I mean,
that's my
Beaver
guilty
too, huh?
pleasure. So how about you guys have a guilty pleasure about a player
About basketball
or about basketball.
Where are we going with this?
About
A player, yeah.
I mean,
something like that.
you
You guys all ask such good questions.
Jake Layman was one because I met him and he was really cool. So I always liked Layman. I don't know. Like, I like being able to say that I blocked Peyton Pritchard. I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure or not, but that has been a thing that has happened before, I promise, okay? But it wasn't in college, though, so I'm allowed to talk about it. It was in high school. But other than that, like, not really. I like Dame, obviously, is my favorite player ever. I love Brandon Roy, so those guys, are kind of a guilty pleasure. But I wouldn't say there's anyone specifically.
I think a good thing would be, like, some of our draft crushes.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I really like Ivy Baji and, of course, Jabari Walker.
Uh-huh.
Jabari Walker is the second to last pick in the draft, and Ivy Baji goes undrafted. They just both happen to be on the Blazers now. But like, I tend to still like root for those guys and hope they make it. Unfortunately for me, there hasn't been really anyone from like the Hillsborough area that's gone on to play in the NBA recently. So there's not like a local tie out that way. But yeah, it's more just like guys I really liked through the draft process. Another guy who I'll defend, even though he's sucked in the NBA, is Aaron Neesmith. I thought was going to be really good.
Hey,
so.
he had a freaking poster the other day, though. So
yeah, he's had his moments this year. But like, there's players like that. So like, you know, you're wrong about a prospect, but you watch so much film on them or something that you kind of still have a soft spot for. Like maybe last year with Jalen Suggs or something. You're trying to defend him, even though he's
Chet Holmgren, like any Gonzaga guy.
So it's more like those guys for me.
Yep.
Nice. And thanks for having this watch party. It was cool to meet you guys.
To meet you.
And
thank you for driving out here, man.
yeah, no problem.
Take it easy.
In case you can't tell, chat, we're like
The audience is dying.
the audience is we got 4 people in this room now, which I can't blame them. It's almost midnight, but
Trevin says you just admitted that it was a Gonzaga bias.
well, I want to know why Trevin isn't here. You know, like he didn't go to the game tonight, did he? But I want to meet Trevin. I want to hear what Trevin's voice sounds like. I've gamed with Trevin for hours upon hours upon hours before. Hung out with, in voice calls on Discord with Trevin. Always muted, Eric, and you know that because you've been with us, and this dude won't share his freaking voice. That's why we have a joke that he's a robot that I invented. So, Trevin, you got to give me a good reason why you're not here, or else you can't troll me. That's the rule for the rest of the stream. Okay, before we toss it over to my guy here, clearly a bot, a.k.a. do you want to leak your name, or do you just want to go by clearly a bot? Do you want me to call you bot? We're already talking about Trevin the robot. We can talk about clear...
I'm pretty much a robot. I'm pretty much a robot, too.
Yeah, so, okay, this wouldn't have happened without him. All right, so he was my connect to this place, and, like, you basically helped this happen, so I just want to give a huge thanks to you, because without you, like...
Thanks, bot.
Yeah, thank you, you freaking bot. But, yeah, so it's good to... It's been nice to be able to like hang out with you in person as we set this thing up. There's a lot of work that we put into this, but you've been graciously helping me every step of the way. And we had food, we had drinks, we had the projector system set up. So huge thanks to you for helping me set this up. And that was somebody else.
I can't delete Tori.
Yeah, Trevin's gonna be unmodded. Anyway, Trevin's trying to be the only bot here is what he's trying to do. God dang it, Trevin. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you in front of everybody. So you won't get the big round of applause that you deserve. I should have thanked you at the start of this stream. But yeah, thank you. Anyway, floor is yours, whatever you want. Obviously, you deserve it.
While we're on this topic, thank you so much for sticking around and being here with us while we do this. Sorry we're keeping you here. Okay.
I mean, if we weren't doing this like this, she would just have to hear it in the background of the house anyway. She's been listening to you guys for like 2 years or a year plus. So everybody's like saying you guys look short or something like that, or like tall. I didn't know you guys played basketball when I went to first meet you last year at the Timberwolves game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, these guys are like tall as fuck. So it's like everybody who thinks...
We made it through everyone except you before we dropped it. But honestly, at this point, you might as well just say it every other word. I mean, it is YouTube. We might get demonetized, but also you hooked up the stream.
I'm so sorry.
You hooked up the watch party, so...
I'm so sorry.
You get free reign to say whatever you want, so we just gotta deal with it, Eric.
These guys...
We're gonna say anything.
These guys are tall. Everybody who doesn't understand that they're tall is just trolling. So I want to say thank you to them. They have started something that's been a lot of fun. That's why everybody showed up to this watch party. I just want to say thanks for everything you guys do, because sure, it's a type of a job, but the passion and effort you guys put into it to get somebody to drive 2 hours, like everybody else who showed up, like fully blazered out, it's a lot of fun. I want to say thanks. I know we're going to do more of these in the future. I don't have much more to say than that, except let's bring back Seth Curry for the bench.
You're a Seth Curry fan, huh?
Huge Seth Curry
So you're
fan.
trading Josh Hart for him? Because that's probably what.
Oh, there we go with the Eric comment. No fun, Eric Taylor.
No
you
fun.
can say it now. There it is. You should have given him some alcohol before the stream. You're gonna be like, yeah, Seth Curry. Anyway, thank you for setting this up. Thank you for everything you've done, man. And for ruining the watch party that you helped create. Yeah. Thanks for ruining this, man. Anyway. See, like, I curse as much as you do in my everyday vocabulary, but I've just learned not to do it behind the camera, not to do it behind the mic. I don't expect you to know how to not cuss, because if you threw me behind a mic before I ever did YouTube, I would have said the same exact thing. Like, now it's really hard. Like, I can't cuss. Like, I was about to just cuss just to prove what I would have been like, and I just can't. You know, there's just that filter in place. So, anyway, thank you. Clearly a bot. Thank you to the two of you that stuck around to the very, very end. I hope you drive safe, man. Thank you for coming all the way from Corvallis. But yeah, this has been awesome. A lot of stress went into planning this, but it's been cool to be able to stream in front of an audience. Is kind of surreal, and do our first stream in person. Like, we've never streamed in person together. We've done we did the draft stream. The first ever stream we did in person. We've done like probably 900, maybe 1,000 streams since then. Never in person. So this was pretty cool. I might have to do highlights from this post-game watch party and edit in like people's reaction to Gary Payton. Yeah, Gary Payton's first three. I was recording it when he hit that, but next time I will maybe pay just somebody to videotape the thing, and we'll do more content around it. I just wanted to make sure this went off without a hitch, and it went off about as well as I could have expected. And everybody that showed up tonight helped, made it great. So thank you to everyone that showed up.
I'll definitely, so I got a picture of the whole group, and I'll post that on the Blazers Uprise YT Twitter.
Yep.
But I was surprised we didn't get any life advice questions.
I know.
Such a missed opportunity for
maybe we'll just have to do that in the off season. We'll just have to meet up, and it can just be like, a circle, and we could give everybody life advice, and that can be a stream. I don't know, but yeah, I was ready. But yeah, we're 2 hours in, man. This is what we threw Twitter Spaces last year, and we always drug it out so long. So,
I think the people did a good job of
it was perfect. 2 hours is perfect. I just don't want to keep my guy clearly about here, and shout out to his girlfriend for bartending and all that. So thank you for that. I don't know why I was struggling for that word. So thank you to both of you. Don't want to keep you around here longer, but yeah, 2 hours is perfect. Lots of good questions. I mean, our community's pretty smart, man. Our community's pretty smart. It's pretty cool to hear people talk basketball and just how well-versed I think everybody that came up here on the mic was. And everybody I talked to, even those of you who didn't get on the mic, just impressive for a community, but not surprised given how nerdy we are.
And also, hopefully soon we'll have another basketball meetup.
Yes.
Possibly, I see Carson. Your PDX jersey hat would have looked great up here on camera, Carson. But yeah, hopefully we have a gym soon. Even if you're not a basketball player, it would still be cool if you wanted to come hang out or watch or whatever, and we can have inside jokes about whatever happens at those events as well. Dro's going to be in town next week, maybe.
Oh, that's scary.
But yeah, so just like, even if you just want to come hang out sometime, there's a lot of fun to meet people and just chat and stuff, and that was very cool to do.
Yep, and unfortunately Carson was going to try and make it out tonight, couldn't, so it sucks that we didn't get to have him out here, but he's one of the nicest people you'll find, so shout out to Carson, always super supportive in chat, man, and next time we're going to have to get you out here to one of these things. But yeah, thank you to everybody that showed up and bought a ticket. We're gonna have another one of these in about a month is the goal, so stay tuned for that. And then Wednesday we'll have a normal post-game stream, normal location. Thursday we'll have Blazers Uprise live on our second channel, and we will discuss GP2 and his return more in depth. And just kind of what we've seen from him. And then, next Monday, roughly around next Monday, we might have Jeremy Grant extension news. So lots on the horizon for the Blazers. Trade deadlines in barely over a month, so we'll have a lot of content around that. And, of course, a post-game show after every stream, as we usually do. Haven't missed a game yet this year. Not going to miss a game unless something crazy happens, but, knock on wood. Unfortunately, this isn't a wooden desk, but we're on a wooden floor. So there we go. I'll knock on wood because that's why I got to keep the wooden desk. But, we'll be here every step of the way as the Blazers trudge towards a hopefully successful season. Still don't know what it's going to be yet.
Three-game road trip coming up.
Yeah, big 3-game road trip coming up, then a ton of home games after that. So hopefully the Blazers can get the job done. Wednesday they play who? Minnesota on Wednesday.
Minnesota, Indiana, and then Toronto.
Hopefully Dame can hit 11 threes again. That would be awesome. But anyway, anything else left to plug? Any final words?
Super Bowl, then Blazers game.
Yeah, Super Bowl weekend is what we're looking at for the next watch party. I will have more information with you guys, like Super Bowl party on Sunday, then a watch party on Monday is the plan. So we'll see. I will have more information soon regarding that, and I will let you guys know if you guys want to come out for the next one. That'd be pretty cool. So anything else that you wanted to say?
No, thanks to everyone who came out, and thanks to everyone who watched the stream. Appreciate all of you, and thanks for all the nice words for people who said nice things to us. And even if you don't like us, appreciate you watching anyway. And hope everyone has a good night.
Yep. The Blazers take care of business against the Pistons. GP2 debuts. Jeremy Grant goes off against his old team as it was a rough first quarter and a half, then a breeze the rest of the way. The Blazers win 135-106 to move to 19-17 on the season. Once again, this post-game show was presented by Bet Online. Use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% rewards. Bet Online, where the game starts. We are out of here. We will catch you on Wednesday. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.